Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2025. Commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 78 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 and Viksit Bharat at 2047. As part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations and celebrations. December 12th is commemorated as International Day of Neutrality. Neutrality, defined as a legal status arising from the absenteeism of a state from all participation in a war between other states, the maintenance of an attitude of impartiality towards the belligerents and the recognition of the belligerents of this absenteeism and impartiality is critically important for the United Nations to gain and maintain the confidence and cooperation of all in order to operate independently and effectively, especially in situations that are politically charged. So, as Article 2nd of the UN Charter obligates member states to settle their international disputes by peaceful means and to refrain from the threat or use of force in their relations, the General Assembly reaffirmed those obligations in Resolution 71 by 275. The resolution also underlined that some states' national policies of neutrality can contribute to the beneficial relations among the countries of the world. Recognizing that such national policies of neutrality are aimed at promoting the use of preventive diplomacy, which is a core function of the United Nations and occupies a central place among the functions of the Secretary General. The General Assembly decided to declare 12th December the International Day of Neutrality and called for the making the day by holding events and aimed at enhancing public awareness of the value of neutrality in international relations. So, in the face of political tensions and escalating crises, it is of great importance to uphold the principles of sovereignty and the sovereign equality of states, territorial integrity, self-determination, and non-intervention in the internal affairs of any state, and to defend, promote, and encourage the settlement of international disputes by peaceful means in such a manner that international peace and security are not endangered. Therefore, the policy of neutrality contributes to the strengthening of the peace and security in relevant regions and at the global level and plays an important role in developing peaceful, friendly, and mutually beneficial relations between the countries of the world. It is worth noting that the policy of neutrality, a key factor for providing conditions and building a platform for peaceful negotiations, is also closely interconnected with and based on the tools of preventive diplomacy, such as early warning and prevention of conflict, mediation, good offices, fact finding missions, negotiations, and the use of special envoys, informal consultations, peace building, and targeted development activities. Hence, preventive diplomacy is a core function of the United Nations and is central to the role of the United Nations Secretary General, including the special political missions of the United Nations and the good offices of the Secretary General in peacemaking, peacekeeping, and peace building. Consequently, in accordance with the guiding principles of the strengthening of the coordinations of emergency humanitarian assistance of the United Nations system, countries with the status of neutrality play an important role in providing and delivering humanitarian assistance in situations of complex emergencies and natural disasters. On 2nd February 2017, the General Assembly adopted without a vote resolution 2071 by 275, introduced by Turkmenistan, recognized by the UN as a permanently neutral state since 12 December 1995, which noted the link between the preservation of peace and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and declared 12 December as International Day of Neutrality. The former The aforementioned GA resolution also proposes that UN Secretary General continue to cooperate closely with the neutral states with the view of implementing the principles of preventive diplomacy and utilizing them in the mediation activities. The United Nations is committed to moving from a culture of reaction to one of prevention. The term prevention diplomacy refers to the diplomatic action taken to prevent disputes from escalating into conflicts and to limit the spread of conflicts when they occur. While it is conducted in different forms and fora, both public and private, the most common expression of preventive diplomacy is found in the work of envoys dispatched to the crisis areas to encourage dialogue, compromise, and the peaceful resolution of tensions. Mediation. Since its inception, the United Nations has played a crucial role in helping to mediate inter and intra-state conflicts at all stages before they escalate into armed conflict, after the outbreak of violence, and during implementation of peace agreements. Successful conflict mediation requires an adequate support system to provide envoys with proper staff assistance and ensure the talks have the needed logistical and financial resources. Peacekeeping. UN peacekeeping flourished in the decade. UN peacekeeping flourished in the decade following at the end of the Cold War, as many long standing armed conflicts were brought to an end through political negotiated settlements. The organization continues to play a permanent role in peacemaking, working increasingly in partnership with regional organizations in order to bring ongoing conflicts to an end and to prevent new crises from emerging or escalating. December 12th is also commemorated as International Universal Health Coverage Day. An affordable health cost, we are sick of it. On 12 December 2012, the United Nations General Assembly endorsed a resolution urging countries to accelerate progress towards universal health coverage, UHC. The idea that everyone everywhere should have access to quality, affordable health care. On 12 December 2017, the United Nations proclaimed 12 December as International Universal Health Coverage Day, UHC, by Resolution 72 by 138. So, International Universal Health Coverage Day aims to raise awareness of the needs for strong and resilient health systems and universal health coverage with multi stakeholder partners. Each year on 12th December, UHC advocates raise their voices to share the stories of the millions of people still waiting for help, champion what we have achieved so far, call on leaders to make bigger and smarter investments in health, and encourage diverse groups to make commitments to help move the world closer to UHC by 2030. The COVID 19 pandemic has again showed the UHC and health security are intertwined goals to protect everyone, everywhere, that we achieve through the same health system. So, in crisis and calm, for health systems to work, they must work for everyone, no matter who they are, where they live, or how much money they have. Equitable health coverage puts women, children, adolescents, and the most vulnerable first because they face the most significant barriers to essential care. On 12 December, join us to demand action on universal health coverage and call on leaders to invest in financial protection for health. Our lives, livelihoods, and futures depend on it. UHC Day on 12th December is the annually rallying point for the global movement for health for all. It marks the anniversary of the United Nations historic and unanimous endorsement of universal health coverage, UHC, in 2012. Building on momentum from 2024, this year's campaign highlights the devastating human impact of unaffordable health costs and the calls on decision makers to prioritize universal health coverage. The campaign launched in early October and will culminate on 12 December 2025. So, more than half the world's population still lacks access to essential health services, and a quarter of them face financial hardship when paying for the health care out of their own pockets, often all the expenses of food, education, or housing. The 2025 UHC Day campaign theme, Unaffordable Health Cost, We Are Sick of It, focuses on the lived experience behind these statistics, reminding government decision makers that unaffordable healthcare costs are making our communities poorer and sicker, holding us back on all the sustainable development goals. The campaign UHC means that everyone everywhere can access to health services they need without the risk of financial hardship. It is embedded in the Sustainable Development Goals SDG Target 3.8 and includes a full range of essential health services spanning health promotion, prevention, and treatment. The three dimensions of UHC are population coverage, who receives services linked to equity, service coverage, what health services are available, and financial protection, ensuring health services do not lead to financial hardships. UHC is based on the principles of equity, non-discrimination, and the right to health, ensuring that most marginalized population are reached and covered and no one is left behind. The goal of the universal health coverage has become more attainable as the world has become richer, leading to greater access to health services and technologies such as vaccines and antibiotics, and to the most dramatic decline in the poverty ever achieved. To ensure that every person benefits from the human right to health, political leaders have make the right choices. The rational, economic, financial, and social choice of universal health coverage. Today is also commemorated as International Shareware Day on December 12th, that is on second Saturday in December. So this year it takes place on December 13th. Programmers spend hours in front of computer to make modern life better and easier. Shareware is a software that is shared as try before you buy. Shareware includes softwares for hundreds of programs, among others Donkey Kong, WinZip, YouTube, Downloader, antivirus programs, and Adobe Acrobat, with, and so on. When the trial period for the shareware is over, the user either starts paying or has to stop using the program. This helps programmers to find any bugs in the trial phase of the program and also make potential users aware of what is out there. Today is also commemorated as Malta Republic Day or Gem Republica is celebrated in Malta on December 13th every year. It is a day for the general population and schools where most business are closed. Malta is an archipelago in the central Mediterranean between Sicily and North African coast. The country is known for its historic sites related to succession of rulers, including the Romans, Moors, Knights of St. John, French and Britain. Maltese tourist attractions include numerous fortresses, megalithic temples, and the Elsefin hypogeum. It is a tiny nation with just over 5 lakh people. Today is also commemorated as National Cocoa Day in US. Hot cocoa is typically made with cocoa powder, heated milk or water and sugar. However, some also call it as hot chocolate, while cases a bit confusion. Hot chocolate is made by ground chocolate containing cocoa butter. We can also make chocolate liquor by fermenting, drying, roasting, and grinding cocoa beans. After this, the cocoa butter is removed and we are left with only the cocoa powder. This cocoa powder is used to make hot cocoa. It is relatively healthy drink with a very little fat and calories depending on what you add to it. Today is also commemorated as National Cream Cheese Frosting Day in US, celebrated every year in the United States on December 30th. The purpose of this celebration is to recognize how much people all across the world enjoy dairy products. This day was established by ARIA, a leader in clean label cream cheese, the key ingredient in the nation's most beloved seasonal dessert topping. During this day, cream cheese frosting is much more in demand. A simple cake or pastry can become a wonderful delicacy thanks to the frosting, a delicate spread. Today is also commemorated as National Horse Day in US. It's a day to remember the economic, historic, and cultural contributions that horses has made. Equine enthusiasts across the country will get together on December 13th to show their appreciation for these majestic creatures. When you are a seasoned rider or have never been on a horse in your life, check out some ways to get you can recognize them. Today is also commemorated as National Ice Cream Day in US, which takes place on December 30th. You probably won't hear the ice cream truck with its delightful tune rolling through your neighborhood. Your favorite ice cream shop may even be closed for the season, but it is still a perfectly good season to get a pint or three. who's counting of the good stuff to share with your friends and family. Today is also commemorated as National Violin Day in US. Whether you adore country's Pekin or the fiddle or Stravinsky compositions in the concert hall, violins have a sound easily adaptable to a variety of musical genres. They haven't always looked the same since their heyday during the 16th century, but the violin has a recognizable tone and appearance, some of the most valued instruments that have sold for millions of dollars at auction. National Violin Day on December 13 recognizes the impact and cultural contributions of the most versatile instrument. Today is also commemorated as Pathologist Pal Day in UK, observed on December 13th in the UK. A pathologist is a doctor of doctors, meaning that they are involved in teaching, investigating, and diagnosing disease or medical conditions. Every doctor has to follow the instructions and interpretation of the pathologist for effective treatment of the patient. Coroners are people who investigate and determine the manner of death. They rely on the medical officers and the forensic pathologists to accurately determine the causes. Both pathologists and coroners have high pressure jobs which require sensitivity and expertise. While a pathologist is occupied with academic pursuits and critical decision making regarding treatments, the coroners are responsible for dispatching correct information regarding deaths. So, with this, we shall end today's commemorations and celebrations. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form that has been raised in the form of polls before leaving the platform. See you all tomorrow at the same time with the same joining link. Take care. Good night.